Howdy and hello. It's been a while since I've last made a video. I know. But whatever, who cares? I've been busy, overwhelmingly busy with many stuff. And so, yeah, but now I'm back because tonight I just feel like talking about a story. It's a story that goes back when I used to live in the middle of buttfuck nowhere with two meth heads. And this story is about Gay. I lived with two roommates. We'll call them Gay and John. And they both did meth, right? One was slightly better than the other with his intake of meth or speed. And I just want to tell this one story about how I tried to bring up the issue to one of my roommates that maybe he might be addicted to meth. Why would I want to do that? Well, I don't know. Maybe I'm just some stupid 18-year-old trying to look out for their meth addicted roommate, I guess, who also has seizures and does meth and other copious amount of bad substances. But besides that, meth was kind of like the only thing he was doing at the time. And there would definitely be many times where we'd just be sitting in the house together, Gay and I, and he'll be like hitting some meth, and I don't really care. I don't hit it myself because I ain't about that. And he'll talk about how like he'll uptalk. It's so funny because sometimes he'll uptalk the substances he takes, like uptalking cigarettes and uptalking about how, oh, if you smoke cigarettes, it actually improves like neural connectivity and nerve connections and shit like that, or whatever the fuck. And then also talking about like, oh, if you microdose on meth, it's actually kind of healthy for your brain because it's growing more neurons and brain cells or whatever the fuck, but only in microdoses, he says. And I'm like, you know, I mean, that kind of makes sense. It kind of makes sense. Like if you take meth in like small increments, it could be beneficial. I completely understand that. Look at Adderall and other methamphetamines that are sold in pharmaceuticals. But he does street meth. He just gets it from a plug, $20 a gram, and I guess he microdoses, but throughout the day. It's like when you go to one of those little like coin machine things to like put the coin in, and you turn the handle to get your little capsule with a toy in. It's kind of like that. A microdose is 25 cents getting that capsule. But yeah, it's only 25 cents and not $1, but it still adds up over time when you're doing it multiple times in a day. So he would just say, he would be like, yeah, I'm not addicted. I just microdose throughout the day for like, you know, the brain benefits or whatever the fuck. And then, when Gay wasn't home and it was just me and John home, I would talk to John and tell John, I'd say, I'd tell him what Gage says about like meth and the brain, hope benefits and shit like that. And I'm like, and I told him, you know, like, I guess I kind of get it, but he's not microdosing. He's not microdosing. I mean, I guess he's microdosing throughout the day, but it's multiple times throughout the day to the point where is it even microdosing anymore? I don't think so. And John agreed with me. John is the older guy. John is like, he was 29 at the time, and Gage is 26, and I was 18. So we had that conversation, and John actually agreed with me. And I told John, hey, maybe I'll tell Gay that he's like slightly addicted to meth. And maybe might slow down a little bit. You know what? I really don't know what outcome I was expecting out of telling Gay that he's addicted to meth. I don't know, maybe just that's what I get for being courteous and nice, but whatever, besides the point. Besides the point of me being courteous and nice, so I had that conversation with John. John basically agreed with me about like Gage's meth use, and I mean, John like he uses meth too, but way less. I would say John actually microdoses, like actually microdoses, and not like microdoses throughout the day and tries to like tell himself he's microdosing. What is that one word? Gay, he tries to he's like trying to reassure himself, like make himself feel better. What's the word called? He's trying to make himself feel better. Rationalize, yeah. He's trying to rationalize his meth use. He's trying to rationalize how much he does meth by cherry picking articles on the internet about how these bad substances could have the tiniest little pros with them. But in reality, the cons really do weigh out the pros of smoking meth. So, yeah. When it came time to the actual day where I confronted Gay about his meth issue, it was just Gay and I. Actually, yeah. John he lived in the garage next to us, and we lived in the studio house thing. And it was just Gay and I in the studio house, whatever. And I was telling Gay, I brought it up very subtly, in my opinion. I don't know. I just tried to tell him. I said, "Hey, Gay, I know that you microdose throughout the day with meth, but I think it's a little bit more than microdosing when you're doing it more than 5 times throughout the day, because after a while it builds up and it's not really microdosing after that point. I think you're addicted." And I told him that, and he blew up on me. He blew up on me, you guys. What did I fucking expect? I don't even know why I expected him to be civil about it. He's a fucking meth head. So, that was my first time, confronting a meth head about his addiction. He blew up on me. He got up, and he's like, "I'm not addicted to meth. I microdose. What do you know about meth? And you can't tell me what to do. You can't tell me how to live my life. I give you a place to live," and shit like that. Talking down on me, and then like kind of like holding things over my head, because I mean, he does kind of have like that power and like hierarchy above me, because he did give me a place to live and stuff like that. And he's just yelling at me, telling me that I have no place to say that he's addicted to meth and what he should do with his life and blah blah blah, and just yelling at me. And I'm just sitting there like just taking it. And then at the end of his fucking angry monologue, he's like, "Give me a cigarette." And he's not even supposed to be smoking cigarette, and this is his first cigarette since his like hospital visit, and he yells at me to give him a cigarette because he's so pressed that I called him out that he's addicted to meth. It was like this, "Give me a cigarette," and then I give him a fucking cigarette. They were my cigarettes. They weren't even his cigarettes, man. They're my cigarettes to chop with. I ain't that pressed about losing a cigarette though. It's just the way he like handled me trying to bring something to his attention. He didn't have to yell like that. He could have just been like, "Oh, okay, I don't really care." Then okay, true, okay, right, chill, man, that's chill. Like, okay, if you can acknowledge that you're addicted to meth and don't care, I mean, all right, cool, that's your life. But to yell at me like that, and to be in denial, and to be all defensive like a little child just because I called you out on your addiction, bruh, you're a fucking baby. Like, you can't even admit to yourself. And it's so funny because Gay actually had to go to work right after that. After I gave him his cigarette, he left the house, went to work, and then John came out of the garage. And we laughed about it. We literally laughed about it. Do you hear that, Gay? We laughed at your fucking face because you can't admit to yourself that you're addicted to meth. You're stupid. Anyways, so John came out of the garage, and John was like, "Oh, I heard you got yelled at." And I was like, "Yup." And then he's like, "And then he demanded a cigarette from you, huh?" And I said, "Yup." John, if you're watching this video, do you remember that conversation? Do you remember the conversation we had after you came out of that garage, after Gage yelled at me, after I fucking told him that he's addicted to meth? You know, like, do you remember that conversation, John? Because I surely do. And that conversation honestly kind of made me feel a whole lot better after being yelled at by a fucking tweaker. I'm just glad that John is, self-aware with himself and other things, I suppose, but still socially awkward and still misses some social cues, but it's not like he's stupid and doesn't know what's going on sometimes or whatever. But anyways, so yeah, John came out and kind of like, we talked about it, and he reassured me that I'm all right and that Gage is just tweaking and is just addicted to meth. And we just shook our heads and sighed. And, you know, we, living in that house, Gay was the obvious alpha, I suppose, within the house. The person who obviously is the man of the house, of fucking rules the house, you know, calls the shots. It's his house and whatever the heck. And he really did give John and us a place to stay and help us or whatever like that. So, you know, Gay's just got a big ego complex, you know. Can't tell him nothing because he's always right, and people like that kind of suck. So that was my little story about calling my tweaker roommate out about him being addicted to meth and him completely denying it and being defensive and being a little bitch about it. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It's fun to talk about and reminisce. I really can't believe I really lived in a house like that. Shit be crazy. My life is wild. Alright, that's it for my video. If you want to hear more of my stories of me living in the middle of nowhere, I've got plenty. Just tell me down in the comments below. Alright, bye.